What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind back again. And as always, I want to thank everyone who likes, shares, subscribes, everybody who hits the notification bell. Of course, everybody who comments. I love the back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, guys, I want to talk about this because I've noticed there have been a few stories coming out talking about how Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be concerning like a new super weapon. You know what I mean? Like everyone's talking about the possibility of a new Death Star-like kind of thing. And of course, this is causing a lot of backlash. I mean, come on, man. It's like, can't they do anything new? It's like, are they really going to go back to that? Now, I want to say that in war, whether it's Star Wars or any other war, there's always going to be a pursuit for weapons of mass destruction. So I do understand that that's kind of the way it goes. You're always looking for something that's going to cause maximum damage, you know, but there are other things you can do. And if these guys had imagination, they might be able to come up with little other things in the mix to make it more interesting, you know what I mean? And it got me to thinking, it's like, what can they focus on that's not like taking out a super weapon? You know, so it's like my imagination started going and, you know, the little wheels started turning and everything. And I just wrote down a few things. All right, now bear with me, guys, because, you know, I'm not getting paid millions of fucking dollars to come up with a script. Okay, so this is just something that I was just laying around thinking about, okay? Now, starting off. Finn reveals that there are actually resistance sympathizers within the First Order. Yes, once again, I'm going back to Finn because I do feel that he's a character that's loaded with potential that they've been missing for 2 movies, and that's unforgivable. So yes, Finn reveals that there are actually resistance sympathizers within the First Order. Now, I'm saying, you know, kind of think First Order Civil War, you know, differences in ideology and loyalties and allegiances, and he finally gets around to remembering that he must have come from somewhere, so he thinks about his family, and he tries to, I guess you would say maybe he's being haunted by vague memories of his family, you know, that's kind of like really pulling him back to the planet that he believes he came from or originated from or was snatched from, whatever, and he wants to liberate them, you know what I mean? Now he's got a little bit of extra motivation to be in the story, because up until now, there's only 2 things we know about Finn. He wants to get away from the First Order, and he has been like a lovesick puppy chasing after Rey, you know, but this gives him a little bit more like motivation to be in the fight, you know, to know that he's got a family, maybe a mother, a father, siblings or something that he wants to go after, okay? So, yeah, so he wants to lead a mission because what he's saying is that if there are resistance sympathizers within the First Order, then this could actually be a standing army, you know, or a potential army for the resistance that is suffering from not having backup, you know, sufficient backup. So this is what Finn wants to provide by reminding them that there are people within the First Order who would love to do what he did and become rebel scum, okay? So you kind of think Order 66 in reverse, I'm saying, you know what I mean? Because if you have stormtroopers that turn on the First Order, there would be kind of a weird kind of poetry to that, you know what I mean? So anyway, moving on. You got Mark Hamill in this and Force Ghost. So I say Force Ghost Luke tells Rey that he has other lost students that he wants her to seek out and assemble. Okay, so in other words, Rey is going to tell Luke that Kylo wasn't the only one that he was training, and of course whatever the Knights of Ren are, you know, whatever, but he's got lost students out there who are actually still good, you know, who are Jedi. So he tells Rey to seek them out so that she can complete her training. And I'm still envisioning like 2 men and 1 woman, and one of them still has to be mute. I talked about this months ago. I would love to see a mute Jedi. I think that would be so badass, you know what I mean? Like, think Snake Eyes, you know what I mean? But a Jedi, okay? So anyway, it goes on. And in the process of this, Rey remembers that she was not an only child. She has a sister who was also sold. And I would say, I would want that to be like her little sister, say, okay? Now rock with me with this, guys. And I would say that her little sister was also sold for drinking money, but she was sold to the First Order! Ah! Okay? Alright, so you got Rey's little sister. She's out there. And she was sold to the First Order. Alright? She's also Force sensitive. And she's now the youngest of the Knights of Ren. I don't even know if that makes any sense. Remember, guys, I don't read the novels. So before you come in here talking about, that's not even possible because I'm just saying imagination, okay? So let's assume, or let's imagine that Rey has a little sister and she's out there and she's under Kylo Ren's influence and she might even be in love with Kylo Ren. She has no memory of who she is. She doesn't know who Rey is. She's a total brainwashing victim, but she's cold, man. I need her to be a cold, sexy killer. That's what I want. A cold, sexy killer, you know, who would kill for Kylo Ren. Let's put the edge back on this shit, man. All right? So, okay, and then I say that I don't have much more, but Poe, just so you know, we can give Poe something to do. Poe discovers that Rose is a spy. Yes, I'm not giving up on that Rose is a spy thing. And her sister didn't know. As a matter of fact, maybe even Rose didn't know. Let's just say that Snoke or Kylo did a dark Jedi or a Sith mind trick on her. All right, so she didn't know that she was a spy. She wasn't actually aware of it. She wasn't conscious of the fact that she was a spy, but it turns out that she is. All right, and Poe wants to send her back in to assassinate Hux. Okay, so that's an interesting storyline. And in the process of Rose realizing that she was in the employ of the First Order, I want to see her whole image change. I want to see her get rid of the Mary Tyler Moore bullshit hairstyle. All right, I want to see her get rid of the garbage bag that she was wearing. And I want to see her more fucking hot, basically. You know, I know she got those curves. I've seen her in real life. Well, I didn't see her in real life, but I've seen her out of character. You know what I mean? So I think that that Luann or Kelly Marie Tran would probably jump at the opportunity to stretch her acting ability because, you know, she already played like the goody-goody and everything. But I would love to see her flip the script and play like a more you know, sexy villainous type of character, you know what I mean? And that could only come about from realizing that perhaps she was a spy. But she's looking for redemption because she was brainwashed, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about, guys. Now I know, like I said before, there's probably a million reasons why that couldn't happen or wouldn't be possible. But I'm just saying, before you go and recycle another let's get into the super weapon and blow it up and claim victory storyline that we've seen probably dozens of times in Star Wars history. You know, let's get into other areas of storytelling. And of course, all of those little plots that I was talking about can come to a head perhaps on the slave planet or the planet where they're mining stormtroopers, you know, or conditioning stormtroopers so that everybody ends up in one place. And Rey has a showdown with her long-lost sister and Kylo Ren, or over Kylo Ren, you know, and at the same time on the same planet, you also have Rose trying to assassinate Hux. They all come to the same place at the same time is what I'm saying. You know, Finn finds his family, and there's some big battle to, you know, to get them and to defeat the First Order. So, I mean, it sounds like a big old mess, but, you know, like I said before, that's where imagination starts, you know, and then you start kind of like trying to tweak things and make more sense out of it. But that's what I would love to see the so-called creative minds, and I use that term loosely, at Lucasfilm. I would love to see them do things like that. You know, just kind of not be so concerned with fucking subverting expectations like Roundhead Johnson did, but really think about stories, you know, and where these characters would go in reality. You know, well, I say reality, but you know what I mean. If they were more like true to their characters and their character's story arc, and they actually wanted to have character development. And once again, by the way, Chewbacca, I still want to see Chewbacca and I guess Lando now on the Millennium Falcon, you know, doing their bit to avenge Han. You know, because especially after Solo, I feel like this would be a good closing chapter for these characters. Now that, you know, they went and killed Han Solo, you know, I would love to see them go on a mission, you know, to do as much damage as they possibly could and go out in a blaze of glory, you know, or something like that. So, anyway, guys, you know, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. You know, I would also want to see some type of, you know, comeuppance for Kylo Ren as far as his connection to the Skywalkers and things like that. So there are so many different ways that you can take the story. But, you know, like I said, that's just me and my crazy imagination, you know, thinking about it, not getting paid millions of dollars. But I'm really curious. Guys, get in the comment section and tell me some of the things that you would like to see or that you would imagine. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about imagination. I'm not even talking about whether it's doable or possible or anything like that. I would love to see your different types of scenarios on where they could go, you know, beyond blowing up the super weapon. You know, I think that we could probably do a much better job together. So get at me in the comment section. I'm really, really curious to see this. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. I'll catch you on the next one. Rock on.